And what are we counting? We're counting each time someone's identity is being stolen here in America. And most people never think about it and have the idea, this will never happen to me. And if it does, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But can you see how many people's identity have been stolen in these few seconds? Well, it's the largest crime reported by the Federal Trade Commission since 2008, and no one can stop it because of modern technology. It has become very simple for someone to steal someone's identity. Check it for yourself. Just log on to the website spookio.com and enter your own information to see all of your personal information. Yeah, you're right, this should be private, but this is the internet. There's also a mortgage company that spends hundreds of thousands of dollars on advertisements selling you on the idea that they can guarantee you the best mortgage rate on the market. Well, are you aware when you submit your information to this company over the internet, they will turn around and send it to several other companies that you have no idea of. And what are they sending? All of the information they need to approve your mortgage. So that means there's enough information on your application for someone to steal your identity. Facebook has over 500 million subscribers and growing. And what do you find on their profiles? Their birth dates, mother's maiden name, state they live in, and other information that they could use to steal your identity. What about when someone passes away?
Actually, despicable crime. Crooks who steal the identities of the dead.
This is the last photo that was taken of my husband.
But when he died last year, Gail was not at all prepared for what happened next.
My husband passed away on July 2nd. On July 29th, I get a call, and it's American Express, and asked to speak with my husband.
3 suspects have been arrested in the case, 2 of whom are accused of stealing the identities of at least 124 deceased persons and ringing up charges in the thousands of dollars. Investigators traced each of the victims back to Slidell Memorial Hospital in Louisiana. Stephen had been a patient at Slidell Memorial the month prior to his death, and Gail believes his obituary is what set the fraud in motion.
His obituary appeared in the paper on July 4th, July 5th. Someone was applying for a Walmart credit card. I was angry because that somebody would steal a dead person's identity. I mean, you hear the horror stories, cars bought in your name, homes bought in your name, and people just need to be aware of that.
And how easy is it to steal someone's social security number?
It's a new, more impersonal way to steal someone's identification.
If you know where someone was born and you know the month in which they were born, you can decode at least part of their social security number.
Professor Hoofnagel is the Director of Information Privacy Programs at the University of California, Berkeley. He says starting in the 1980s, Social Security numbers started following a pattern, and identity thieves have discovered it. The first 3 digits indicate place of birth. The next 2 numbers are based on date of birth. The last 4 numbers can be estimated using advanced statistical technique. It's a process found by researchers at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, where the first 5 numbers were correctly predicted up to 44% of the time. Whether you're a victim of synthetic identity theft or any kind of identity theft, everyone agrees you have to confront the situation head on.
Fact. Originally, social security numbers weren't meant to be an identifier. They were just a part of an accounting system. So who's vulnerable to this crime? Anyone who has a social security number, especially young people who haven't established credit yet.
Why look at your 1-year-old's credit when it's obvious they haven't applied for anything? One infant's mother was applying for child health insurance when she found out her baby already had a credit problem.
Well, we didn't know how they got it. We have no idea how they got her number.
At the Bountiful Library tonight, Brooklyn's grandfather, Jay, shared how her identity was stolen when she was just an infant. Her mom only found it because she applied for extra child health insurance and was told there was a problem. It's never too early to check your child's credit report, just to be sure.
And when will you find out about this crime? Years later. And the elderly are very susceptible to this crime. Yes, they have worked all of their lives to save for their retirement, and they can all be taken away in a blink of an eye with identity theft.
July 16th, 2 women walked in the front door just before 4 in the afternoon. They were posing as home health workers and started knocking on doors, asking for Medicare information and things like driver's licenses and social security numbers. The women claimed to be employees of a real healthcare company, used the names of real local doctors, and convinced at least one man to turn over a great deal of his personal information. Now police are releasing this video, hoping someone will recognize these women.
The sooner we get them stopped, the sooner we can prevent this from happening to somebody else.
When most people think of identity theft, what comes to mind are their credit card and debit cards being abused. But statistics indicate credit card and debit card theft equates to only 27% of actual identity theft. Most people also believe if someone takes money out of their bank account or uses their credit card, all they have to do is call the bank and tell them, "It's not me." Well, with all the technology that you have at your fingertips to prove your innocence, you will still have problems proving that you did not use your own card. The burden of proof is on you to prove your own innocence.
Everybody needs to put themselves in my shoes and know that this could happen to them. It's made it really hard for me to smile and be the normal person that I felt like I was at first.
It started 4 years ago when Stancy was pulled over for speeding in the Bay Area. She admitted going too fast, but couldn't understand why she was being arrested.
I ended up going to jail that day. They didn't believe anything I was saying.
It turned out Stancy had a warrant for her arrest. The police databases showed she'd been busted for cocaine possession here in San Francisco's seedy Tenderloin district back in 1999, but that she never showed up for court appearances. Stancy had to spend 3 days in jail. The problem, she was innocent.
Police later confirmed it when her fingerprints didn't match the real suspect who had used Stancy's name.
I've had nightmares about this.
She says police told her they'd fix the problem, but 2 months later, Stancy was arrested again, this time at her home in Berkeley. Once again, she says when the officers discovered the error, they told her they'd help her clear her name. But 3 months later, Stancy was arrested again in yet another jurisdiction. And it didn't end there. From 2002 to 2004, Stancy was arrested or detained 7 times by 5 police departments. In one instance, hauled off right in front of her children.
The kids were crying, and basically they ended up, throwing me on the ground and sticking their knees in my back. Maybe it's because I'm not a rich person that they feel like I'm nobody. But I am somebody and I have feelings, and I don't think that they should run people's lives like this.
This is something that I don't think you would wish on your worst enemy. You pray it doesn't happen to you.
Identity theft is the one crime that you are guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Ready? At age 66, the grandmother and a retired vice president of Wells Fargo Bank was met by police at her front door and led away to jail in handcuffs.
It is the most frightening, horrible experience. Honestly, I cried probably for 24 straight hours out of fear.
She was booked on suspicion of felony identity theft, but what made her so incredulous is that she says she's the one who had her identity stolen from a streetcar right here in San Francisco. She said she told police, she told the bank, but there she stood, handcuffed, not the victim, but the suspect. Enough to charge her with 19 counts of identity theft and criminal impersonation. Finally, after Margot spent more than $50,000 on legal fees, prosecutors dropped the charges.
They just put me in handcuffs and took me out in front of all my neighbors, put me in a police car, and took me to jail.
What about someone using your identity to be treated at a hospital with AIDS? Now your name is on a national registry on the World Wide Web, and because of HIPAA laws, you would have to be represented by an attorney to even discuss this issue. What if someone uses your identity to pick up your child from school? What if someone uses your identity in another state to get a job? What if someone opens a business in your name and not pay the taxes? So, as you can see, there's much more to identity theft, just your credit cards and your debit cards, and where you keep all of your personal passwords, on a computer where anyone on the net can steal them. You can attempt to delete or trash any computer files that you want to, but if you don't open up your computer and destroy the hard drive, all of the information is still there. And the same goes with your cell phone. Have you ever stored essential information on your cell phone? And how many cell phones have you had? Have you seen this in the news?
You are going to demonstrate right now how exactly a criminal can steal your credit card just by walking past you.
Absolutely. What we've done is we put everything you need in this one little portal. Looks like I got an iPad walking around with. All I have to do is walk by someone's wallet like that, and it read the credit card number in it, and I have the entire credit card information. Everything I need, I can actually take that, hit my clone button, and put all that information on a magstripe card, and and walk in and pay. We've actually done it with several different types of accounts.
So they walk by you, they swipe your credit card information, they make a clone credit card, they charge stuff, you get the bill.
Absolutely.
You also need to know that if someone steals your identity, it's been reported that it takes over 330 hours to fix it. And after you go through all this tedious process of fixing this problem, what does the thief still have in his possession? All of your information. FBI statistics show once you become a victim of identity theft, criminals will use your personal information on an average of 30 times. So what are you to do to keep your name secure? Enroll with an identity theft program, right? But how do you know which to choose from? Which will secure more than just your credit cards and debit cards? Which will run a secure scan report that compiles in-depth information from over 1,000 proprietary data sources in 16 different categories. With Secure Scan, you will find out immediately if anything has already happened to your identity when you first sign up for this service. Which has hired the largest group of former United States federal agents in the country to investigate any identity theft perpetrated against their clients. Which will give you up to $25,000 to pay and repair your problems if your identity is stolen. Which will have a formal federal agent assigned to your case developing enough information to assist in the arrest and prosecution of the criminal who stole your identity. Which will offer you a $10,000 reverse bounty if they cannot identify the criminal within 12 months. Which of the founders have over 30 years of experience in law enforcement and have served as a Secret Service agent for over 22 years and have worked for 5 different presidents. Which has the most comprehensive identity theft program on the market. Which will vigorously investigate the crime to prove your innocence. Which will educate you on how you can receive your free credit reports 3 times a year. So the real questions are, do you think that your identity is impervious to thieves? Would you rather be safe than sorry? Can you find another identity theft company that offers you a better service for as little as $12 per month than iSecurity? And the last question is your identity worth 40 cents per day? Remember, the next time you buy a soda, a candy bar, or a bag of chips, you're paying more than it costs to protect your identity. Order the iSecurity Protection Plan today and keep your name secure. It's yours and no one has the right to sue it.
Everyone needs to be conscious that identity theft is real.
When you get news that your identity has been potentially stolen, it's sort of this open-ended problem that has occurred and you don't know what's going to come of it.
No one's immune, which isn't to say that we're powerless. There's a lot we can do to deter, detect, and defend ourselves.